Welcome, dear magical ones. This is Trish, and this is a Two Hags Chinwag show and tell video. I'm going to take you outside and do some harvesting. It's a little bit windy, but it's a beautiful day and a little bit chilly. The first thing I'm going to do is harvest just a specimen for my grimoire for the dandelion. I realized that I didn't have any dandelion written in my grimoire, so I thought I would do that before they got mowed later today. But they're just so beautiful, and dandelion is so useful, so I thought I would do another video on that. In fact, I may do a little series for you if you are interested, so let me know in the comments below. But I'm just picking a really good, pretty dandelion flower and leaf for my grimoire, and yeah, it's always fun to do this. I really enjoy adding to my grimoire, and it's just a great little creative outlet, and I love looking at it, like I mentioned in the podcast. I'm also picking a bunch of leaves today because they are still very young and tender, and that is a really good time to pick dandelion leaves. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm taking my dandelion flower and I'm choosing the better of the leaves for my grimoire. And then what I'll do with these is I'll press them. I had also picked a coltsfoot leaf because I had already picked the flowers, but because the leaves come out after the flowers, I had to leave space in my grimoire for the leaf. So I did that today. And so here I'm just showing you that I'm taking my grimoire flowers, the dandelion and its leaf, and the coltsfoot leaf, and pressing it in this old copy of a Harry Potter book. And yes, this was purchased before we knew about J.K. Rowling. But because the paper is kind of rough and dry, I find it works perfectly for pressing. And then I take this book and I will place it underneath these heavy illustrated copies of Harry Potter. So this is kind of like the Harry Potter shelf. But anyway, I find it works really, really well, and they're usually done within a couple days. So here are my dandelion leaves for my apothecary. I use this dehydrator. It's cheap. It's old and noisy, but it works really well. I find that I prefer this method for preserving herbs because Nova Scotia can be humid and it takes a while for herbs to dry. So they lose their color and they get dusty if you're hanging them. So I just like to do it this way. Well, let's go back outside and go get some violet flowers and leaves. So this is a bowl that I'll put the violet flowers in, and this little herb knife is actually an old carpet cutter that I found at work. I have a patch in my lawn that just grows beautiful violet flowers. I talked about how the violet flower came to my mind when I was having issues with my ears in the podcast, but I also wanted to share with you some of the other benefits. It is an anti-inflammatory. It supports in cancer treatment. So we're not claiming that it cures cancer, but if you're having treatment for a cancer, it helps support your body during that time. It's beneficial to the lymphatic system. It helps relieve tension. It has so many properties, and I'll show you a little more in my grimoire what I wrote about the violet leaf. I also mentioned in the podcast that a lot of plants have magical properties as well as medicinal properties, and I'll show that to you as well in my grimoire. But look how beautiful this is. It's important to ethically harvest, so I left and plenty behind for the bees. I was taught that you leave a third for Mother Earth, a third for nature, the insects and animals, and a third for you. And this is just a little bit of tulip porn. That is my washing machine that's going in the background. So I apologize for the non-aesthetic noise, but at least the image is pretty. I can attest to that last one. That was actually what was causing my ear pain and the sensation of fullness, was my tension in my jaw. And drinking the tea definitely helped me with that. I use a special lining for this tray for the flowers, because the flowers, when they dry, will fall between the holes of the tray. So that's what this is for, and I find it works really well for drying small flowers without burning them as well, because a dehydrator can burn delicate flowers if the temperature is too high. So this helps regulate that, especially when I dry multiple things in the dehydrator, like the thick leaves of the dandelion mixed in with these delicate flowers. So I also will rotate my trays and make sure that, they get equal drying closer to the element. As far as the temperature goes, I tend to just go with my intuition. Sometimes I'll put it up higher if the leaves are thicker, or put it lower if it's just delicate flowers. But here I'm putting it at 140. I may change my mind later. So this jar is last year's harvest. This is all I have left. And I just think it's so pretty on the inside, which is why I tend to pick the purple flowers over the white flowers. They're both beneficial, but I enjoy the aesthetic of opening this jar of violet leaf and flower for tea and seeing those beautiful purple flowers in there. And while we often make fun of aesthetics right now, I do think it is part of the magic. If opening that jar makes me feel calm and puts me in a space that opens me up to the medicinal and magical properties, then I'm all for it. So this is my grimoire, and I have this divided up in sections. And like I said in the podcast, my herbal section is probably my favorite. I'm no artist, but I do just enjoy, even if it's not as beautiful as many grimoires are, I just enjoy this. It's very artistic for me, and it's also beneficial and informative, and it helps keep a tradition alive. Someday somebody will find this book, or I'll give this book to somebody. And I think it's really important for me to do this.